Hi, I'm Dave Waddell. I've worked for the past 30 years helping schools improve the environmental health and safety of their science, art, and technology programs. As an offshoot of this, I've helped amateur and professional artists stay healthy and protect the environment while creating vibrant art.
In this video, we're going to be talking about patinas that jewelers use and metalsmiths may be using. And one of the things you find with patinas is that there's a lot of different types of patinas, a lot of recipes that artists have to choose from. So let's look at a few of those. The most common one we find jewelers using is liver of sulfur. Now, if you mix this stuff with acid, you're liable to release poisonous sulfide gas. It has this horrible rotten egg smell. So don't mix it with a concentrated acid. In general, though, we find that it's not all that toxic. It does require good local ventilation. So you want to have air moving through your studio. And this is more than just opening a window. This is actually having a fan to pull it out. You should keep it off of your skin when you're working with it. So try to wear gloves when you're handling this stuff, because it is somewhat corrosive to your skin and can cause some irritation. If you are working with liver of sulfur, the gel form is considered the safer substitute. It doesn't off-gas that flammable sulfur dioxide, rotten egg stuff that you're smelling. It lasts a lot longer in storage, so you're saving waste, or you're reducing waste, and thereby you're saving money. So that's always a good thing. So even though it may cost a little bit more, the fact that you're not having stuff go bad so quickly in the long run will save you money, and it reduces your risk of exposures. If you're applying acid patinas, like hydrochloric acid or phosphoric acid or selenious acid or nitric acid, you want to take a great deal of care when you're doing it to avoid getting exposed to these corrosive things. So some common acid precautions that you can use when you're working with applying an acid patina is to wear splash goggles to protect your eyes. These are ones that seal all the way around. They're not just glasses that are impact resistant. And then wear chemically resistant gloves for your skin that are resistant to acids. So latex is not a particularly great choice for this. We recommend that you either use a nitrile glove, a butyl glove, or even a vinyl glove. Any of these are more resistant than latex. You want to have them fit tight enough so that you can get good dexterity, but you also want to be able to protect the skin on your wrists and your hands. You should have an eye wash nearby. An eye wash is designed to flush your eyes for an extended period of time with fresh, hopefully lukewarm water, in case you get any acid in your eyes. The goggles protect, but the eye wash helps to treat your eyes and keep them from getting damaged if acid should come in contact with your eye tissue. Again, don't use metal lids, use plastic and glass containers. And any containers you pour these things in, label with the word corrosive. And that lets everybody else know that there's something in here that could be harmful if they come in contact with it. So for black patina, typically people are using selenious acid. This is a very dangerous acid, should be used with great care. It's very corrosive, and the extra hazard it has is it's very poisonous. It absorbs directly through your skin on contact, so you really have to wear gloves with this stuff. And nitrile gloves, the thin ones that you put on, are not particularly resistant to this material. So you need a heavier duty acid-resistant glove. They can also release vapors that can be quite easy to inhale, and these can lead to pulmonary edema, where your lungs fill with fluid, and that can lead to coma and possibly to death. So you want to have great ventilation. You want to be wearing a lot of protective material to protect your eyes and skins from this stuff. Be very, very careful with black patina, selenious acid. It's a very dangerous compound. So for lungs, we recommend that you actually get a fit-tested respirator with an acid vapor cartridge to it. You can go to a hardware or safety supply store, and they may have these. You'll want to make sure that you get a really nice tight fit so the air is not getting around the side of the respirator into your lungs. You should also have local exhaust ventilation. So you've got some type of the structure or some setup where you've got a strong fan that is pulling all of these vapors directly away from you and directly outdoors. As I mentioned, you should wear acid-resistant gloves. The nitrile, if it's low concentration, are okay, but if you're working with over 75% selenious acid, they really don't work. We recommend vinyl gloves as being the best choice. If you're looking to seal the patinas, then there are several options that you can use. Lacquer is one. Permalac is a commercially available lacquer that we see a lot of jewelers use. And then you can buy spray sealants like the Crystal Clear that we see here. So I did some homework on Permalac, and I found that there's a variety of different Permalac compounds. What I did was I typed in the word Permalac and then a space and then the letters MSDS, which stands for Material Safety Data Sheet. And you should be able to find one. I clicked on that, and then I looked at the ingredients, and what I found was that there were a whole bunch of different hazardous ingredients in here, with a bunch of these TWAs. A TWA is a time-weighted average. That's how much of this stuff you're allowed to be exposed to over an 8-hour period. Anything that's under 300 I generally consider to be fairly toxic. So that butyl acetate is pretty close to that 300 number. So it's fairly toxic, but not very, very toxic. Now, if you're down around 10 or something like that, or 100, below 100, now we're looking at something we're more concerned about. So this is Permalac 2Ka. I have no idea what those letters and numbers stand for. But here's another one. So Permalac interior-exterior non-yellowing coating. And this one contains toluene. Now we're down at a 200 TWA. But toluene has some other issues that we're concerned about, one of which is that it's considered a reproductive toxin. So toluene is a compound that we tend to look for when we're looking at material safety data sheets. And if we see it, we try to find something that does not contain that. So try to avoid working with toluene. So how can you find a safer sealant? I've met some artists who actually use acrylic floor polish. And if they're going to, it's really inexpensive, then which one should you choose, and how can you trust somebody to tell you that that one's safer? Well, one place you can go to try to find safer choices for things like cleaners or car care products or other materials is the EPA's website. So if you go to epa.gov/safer choice, that gets you to their safer choice database. And in there, you can look up things like floor finishes. And anything that's listed on this website is considered to be a safer alternative. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work well for what you're doing. Clearly, a wax like the earth wax is not going to cut it if it's trying to coat your artwork. But some of these other transparent floor finishes may turn out to be a very safe alternative that works well and is very durable to protect your materials. So that concludes this short video talking about patinas and protecting yourself from exposures to them.
To learn more about chemical hazards in schools, visit doh.wa.gov/school environment.